In the previous episode of Perfect Marriage Revenge, Han Iju suffered a serious accident, and this is when she realized that her mother, Lee Young-hae, and sister, Ura, never loved her. All the exploitation and humiliation Han Iju's family put her through became obvious to her at that very moment. With her life slowly slipping away, Han Iju wished for one thing, a second chance at life so she could make her husband, in-laws, and so-called family pay for their wrongdoings. Han is done blaming herself and trying to prove her worth to everyone. She is no longer interested in proving to her mother, Lee Young-hae, that she's a good artist. And why would she? Her mother clearly doesn't respect her. In her eyes, Han is worthless, but in reality, all she ever did was exploit Han's kindness. From their first meeting in the orphanage, she had always been a wolf in sheep's clothing, but not anymore. This time, Lee Young-hae is going to be the sacrificial lamb. Han Iju didn't even waste a single day and started working on her revenge. The first one to fall was her dear fiancé, Yusei Hyuk, who was overly proud of himself for trapping Han Iju. But not because he loved her. In reality, he was just using Han Iju as an excuse to get close to Ura, her younger sister. This was Hyuk's master plan to break free from his middle-class lifestyle by marrying a rich girl from a wealthy family. Not to mention the amount of money he owed to loan sharks. For Hyuk, Han Iju was the answer to all his troubles. When his plan fell through, Yusei Hyuk even got down on his knees, begging Han Iju for a second chance, but it proved ineffective. This was extremely satisfying, as Yusei Hyuk was the same man who chose to confess his love to his sister-in-law rather than supporting his wife when she was being blamed for a crime she never committed. With Yusei Hyuk taken care of, Han Iju set her sights on the person who used her and deceived her while wearing a friendly face. She's Ura, Han Iju's younger sister. Han Iju wants to destroy Ura by hijacking one thing she most desires, getting married to Seo Du-kook. However, wooing him isn't going to be a walk in the park for three main reasons. First, Ura's mother is never going to let it happen. No one knows how many strings she had to pull to even set up a meeting with Seo Du-kook's mother, Cha Yun-hwa. Second, Seo Du-kook's family is packed with people who are very hard to impress. This includes Seo Du-kook's grandmother, Lee Tae-ja, who built the company from the ground up, his mother, Cha Yun-hwa, who never lets Lee Tae-ja have the last word, and Do-na, who can make anyone's life a living hell. The final reason is Seo Du-kook himself, who can drive anybody absolutely nuts. He's as rich as he is handsome and annoying, and he always thinks he's better than the people around him. Even though Seo Du-kook was his grandmother's favorite, he left her company to start his own. In layman's terms, he's not going to date just anyone, let alone exchange vows. However, nothing is impossible for Han Iju now that she's armed with lethal confidence and motivated by revenge. As expected, she manages to woo Seo Du-kook. But how? Han Iju hijacked the date and straight up asked Seo to marry him instead of her sister, Ura. Seo Du-kook proposed the idea that he'd marry the one who's more assertive and sexier and placed his room key on the table. Even though this was uncharted territory, Han Iju was in no mood to back down and followed Seo Du-kook to the hotel room. However, Seo Du-kook had no intention of sleeping with her and just wanted to hear what Iju had to say. She won him over and even proposed an offer too good for Seo Du-kook to refuse. Han Iju has done her homework and knows the deal between his grandmother, Lee Tae-ja, and him. She wants Seo Du-kook to either return home or get married and start his family. If Seo Du-kook chooses to return, she'll give him her company. On the contrary, if he sides with the second option, Lee Tae-ja will invest in his firm, which would help Seo Du-kook's company go public. So, Seo Du-kook has no choice but to choose one of the options. He reconfirms that he could marry Ura, but she'll be tailing him everywhere he goes. Han Iju, on the other hand, would leave him alone so that he could enjoy his life the way he pleases. The cherry on the cake is that Han Iju even offered to divorce him after a year of their marriage. For the outside world, Han Iju and Seo Du-kook will be married, but in reality, they'll be business partners. Seo Du-kook would help Han Iju get her revenge, and in return, she'd help him get his company listed on Wall Street. Everyone tried convincing Han Iju to marry Yusei Hyuk and leave Seo Du-kook for her younger sister. But Han Iju staunchly refused it and was slapped by her mother. She was even thrown into the room her mother used to lock her in during her childhood days. For a while, it appeared that Han Iju was losing the battle, but she pulled herself together after recalling the number of times her mother treated her like an insect while Ura watched in laughter. Lee Young-hae put Han Iju through all the torment she could think of, while Han Iju's only fault was being an orphan. Lee Young-hae is convinced that Seo Do-kook is going to marry her daughter, but her entire world comes crashing down when he asks for Han Iju's hand in marriage. To add insult to injury, he makes it very clear that he has no intention of marrying Ura, as he's not a fan of arranged marriage. As a last resort, Ura lets out her crocodile tears, but Han Iju remains resolute in her decision, prompting Ura to leave the room in anger. Since Seo Do-kook had made his intention clear, Lee Young-hae had no choice but to accept. As Perfect Marriage Revenge Episode 2 comes to an end, Han Iju confesses everything Lee Young-hae and Ura put her through, including poisoning her food. Seo Do-kook feels her pain and promises to help her get even with her family.